going live on YouTube. Now we're gonna try to go live. Okay. Hit me up when we're on Facebook. Just hit me up when we do that. We're good. We're good. We're on West Side. We're good. We're on Facebook. We're good. We're good. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go over the Uber IPO. Every single thing you need to know, coming from a person who put a $0 target on Lyft when all the analysts defended them. See what the analysts think of Uber this time and see why they're going to be wrong again. I'm going to talk about the hottest IPO of 2019. I am Mark Melnick, and this is the Newsbeat Show. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Newsbeat Show. Have so many awesome things today, including an email for somebody who actually was seriously asking me if I have a time travel machine. And we're going to share that with you as well. But first, before we go into the hottest IPO of the year, why you need to use it, why you need to be involved in it, I am going to talk about the disclaimer. By watching this video, you are agreeing to hold me, Mark Melnick, harmless and not responsible for anything that may be shown. If you do not agree to that, you must exit this video immediately, because by watching this video, you are already agreeing to hold Mark Melnick and T3 Live harmless and not responsible for anything shown. Thank you for agreeing to those terms as we continue. And I'm going to talk about, well, of course, the hottest stock of 2019. The hottest stock of 2019. Now, you could go back to my videos and you could watch them. And if you remember the room, you also are already very well aware of that when Lyft came out, I put a $0 target on it. People were telling me that they could get, allocated shares. Should they do it? And of course, I tell them I'm not I don't give stock picks or investment advice, and I'm not registered, and I'm not allowed to do that. So I just tell them my opinions on how I feel personally about them. Would never tell you to do anything. And I basically said these Lyft shares are worth zero. Now, I don't think it's going to go to zero. I think it's going to potentially be bought out if it goes much lower, just based on their simple user base and based simply that they're declining. You want to know who's going to buy Lyft? You want to know who's going to take out Lyft? Uber is going to buy out Lyft. Remember my words. Remember my words. The stock didn't IPO yet. So when Lyft came out, it was huge. You were able to own a piece of the first cab hailing service ever. Publicly traded one ever. Wow. Then I looked at their financials, and I think the internet acronym is LMAO. And that's what I did. I LMAO'd. And it was just the biggest garbage company ever. But all the analysts were bullish, and all the big hedge funds disagreed, and all of them bought into it, and all of them wanted allocation, because people are starving for the next Facebook, for the next Apple, for the next Netflix. People are starving for that new and upcoming IPO. You want to know what those same analysts who are bullish, buying in the mid to high 80s, are watching their shares down to $52. Now, look, I get it wrong. I've gotten it very, very right, very, very wrong, everything in between, as most traders have within their history. But I'm going to tell you why Uber is going to do the exact opposite of this, and why people are not going to want to own Lyft. So here are my compelling arguments. Keep in mind, they're doing the pricing tomorrow, so I'm going to do an update then. I wanted to get this out as early as possible because People just don't understand what the market pays for anymore, and I'm going to show you why. In my humble, and this trader's humble opinion, it's going to be Uber. Now, again, you'll rarely hear me do videos like this, so I'm just going to take you by the simple steps right now of why I feel this way. So, why do I feel this way? Well, let's just go simple steps. Number one, people would rather own Uber than Lyft. Now, why is this important? Why is that important? You want me to prove it to you? Right now. Right now. You have a free $100,000 of money that you must invest in Lyft or Uber. Do you want to own $100,000 worth of Lyft at current prices, or $100,000 worth of Uber wherever it may open, and you are forced to hold that stock for 5 years? Which one would you rather own right now? You were given it to for free. I mean, you can't take out the money, you can't sell the position. You're forced to hold it for 5 years, and I'm putting $500,000 into that trade for you, or let's use $100,000 into that trade for you. What would you rather own? Would you rather own $100,000 worth of Uber or $100,000 worth of Lyft that you had to hold for 5 years? Go ahead. Gary, you have to pick one, Gary, and I think your answer is obvious. One, Uber, 90% Uber, 10% Lyft, Uber in twice on Sunday. Now, this is you talking Uber. Wow, where are the Lyft people? Come out, come out, come out. Where are you? Who wants to own $100,000 of Lyft? Now, why is that important? Mark, I'd rather own stock A over stock B. What is your point of owning? Does that make stock A good? It makes stock A good because there is a lot of interest to own a cab hailing service. There is a lot of international interest. What was the last company that had international interest behind it, who also dealt with automobiles, who also couldn't make a dime if their lives depended on it? That's right. That's right. Tesla. Do you realize what Tesla was able to pull off? Let's talk about that. Tesla is a company that has never made a single dime in their entire life. The more cars they sell, the more they lose. This is a monthly of Tesla. This is what a monthly of Tesla looks like. It came in the market. It literally what? Where did it open up? It opened up at $19 in June 2010. The stock. It opened up at $19 in June 2010. Since that, it went to $363 a share. Now, what that means for our market capitalization, I'm going to show you why this is important. Bear with me. You guys want to, if you guys just want to know the fact that I think Uber is going to go up, go ahead. I mean, if you already got the juicy part. Now I'm actually explaining to you why I feel that way, and I'm going to bring up my compelling points. So when you just do, again, all this stuff is on the internet. You just do a simple look on Tesla right here. Isn't this an interesting commercial? Johnson and Johnson, after the whole asbestos thing. Safety is always on our minds and at the core of our product. Safety always. No, it isn't. You just got sued for having asbestos in baby powder. Yeah, now you're good. You want to know what the same company that did that was? Roundup. After the whole Mosaic, after Bear bought Mosaic and the lawsuits came out about Roundup, I started seeing Roundup commercials for the first time ever on television, as if that's what makes it okay. And I'm like, I honestly feel it was part of the lawsuit for them to come out and say that, because I find that funny. I've never gone to Johnson and Johnson commercial before. Anyway, point being, right over here, $43.191 billion. That's a $43 billion company. You want to know how expensive Lyft is right here? Lyft is $15.12 billion. Investors got this one wrong. Oh, it was over 20 billion actually, when the stock was in the 80s where it opened. And people just got this one wrong, and that's okay. If you remember, people will make the argument, as some of the big cats did, was that Facebook also IPO'd at 19. Tesla, sorry, Facebook opened up at $42, dropped to 17.55, and then rallied to $218. So some people might want to say the chart is telling you that. The difference is Facebook became more viral than Lyft ever will. Now, Lyft is a direct competitor. Here's a monthly of Lyft. Let me just show you the daily. And you could just see Lyft going nowhere but down. The point being made is people are trying to make the argument that, let me put it this way, even if Lyft became as big as Tesla, this stock would go to what, 160, 170 bucks approximately? Hmm, interesting risk reward. Interesting risk reward. Why am I bringing up Tesla? Tesla is probably also going to compete in the cab hailing business of the future. Now let me show you why, even though Uber loses money, why Uber is better. So the point being is people are going to, again, sell Lyft to own Uber, in my opinion, because people rather own Uber than Lyft. They're going to take whatever dollars they have and they say these dollars could be Uber dollars or Lyft dollars, no matter where you are or where you came from. That is a fact. And there's a lot of interest on Wall Street to own a cab hailing service, hence why this garbage company like Lyft was valued so high. All right, so I want to talk about some of the facts here, about Uber, some things that you might want to know, some of the financials. First of all, last year in 2018, they made $11.3 billion. They have 3.9 million drivers, 1.5 billion customer trips. Now, this is the important thing to look for. Average wait time for riders, 5 minutes. So they don't really have a long average wait time. The customers, they did 1.5 billion trips. What they are going to have, I mean, they already made 11.3 billion in 2018. You are going to be able to tweak those numbers for profitability. I will say it right now. This company is going to be profitable before Lyft ever will. See what I did there? You know what this is like looking at Uber and Lyft? To me, it's like looking like at NVIDIA. It's like looking at NVIDIA and AMD. And it's like, here's AMD. Huh, Mark, what don't you like about AMD over time? And I'm like, well, they simply don't make money. That was my issue with the company. I tend to hold that against companies when I start looking at things fundamentally. You have to try to picture how they can make money. I know what you're going to say, Mark. Amazon didn't make money for years. They just kept expanding and expanding and expanding, expanding, expanding. I got you. Uber is a more solid company to start than Amazon was. I'm not saying will become, but Uber is a bigger company than Amazon will ever become in terms of where they IPO'd. When Amazon IPO'd, I'll show you. Look how long it took Amazon to get on gear. I mean, Amazon shares back in 97 were $1.31. That's after a total of each, there was a 2-for-1, 3-for-1, 2-for-1 split. So 12 times lower than that, these shares were actually around 11, 12 cents back in 97 before the splits. Home run. But look how many years it took. If you bought these in 97 and you watched your stock go to 113 down to $8, could you imagine the amount of psychological toxicity if you watched your stock in Amazon go from, look, this is 99. The stock spiked up right here in December 99 to $113. By next year, that stock was $13.56. Okay, so all right, you are going to hold through all of this, by the way, right? Because you're a long-term investor. And after 10 years, you watched your stock up nicely. I mean, it was in the $30 to $40 range. The market came up. You basically opened up at, an interesting time in the tech bubble. And then you watched your stock just rip up here. And you know what story you have? You know what most people's stories are with this thing? Most, not all, most. Most people's stories are with this thing that I once owned Amazon at this price. People do it the same thing with Apple. I once owned Apple long term at a good price. I didn't hold it. And that is the commonality here. When you are dealing with a company like Uber, let's talk about that for a second, and let me show you why this is going to be different. Their adjusted net loss was $1.8 billion last year, but they're doing that on $11.3 billion worth of revenue. What do you think is going to happen with automobiles, electronic automobiles? More fuel efficient or less fuel efficient? More fuel efficient. Those numbers are going to end up tweaking themselves. Those numbers are going to end up tweaking themselves. If you're making 11.3 billion in revenue and you lost 1.8 billion, even though you are losing money, you're starting out at a better spot than Amazon has. You're starting out in a way better spot than Apple, Microsoft has. I'm not saying these stocks exist. Obviously, Uber doesn't even exist as a public company. But from the start, from the get-go, where you had to have faith in an Amazon, they were they were hemorrhaging, and they kept reinvesting the money into expansion. And it was an expansionist strategy by Jeff Bezos, which created one of the most phenomenal stories of all time. But when you talk about companies that are coming in like Uber, those are the numbers you want to see before owning a hail pulling company, before owning a company that hails rides. Now, Lyft, so going back to the sheet right here, people would rather, aka they may sell Lyft to own Uber. And reason number 4, they are starting off on the right foot. Nobody expects nobody expects these cab hailing companies to be profitable right now. That's almost a given in the current environment. But when I looked at the 2019 revenue of Lyft, so Lyft reported earnings, let's go over that and see what they're actually doing. Their Q1 was a loss of $9.02 per share versus the 10.53 expected. Think about that. Just think about that for a second. They are hemorrhaging so much more than Uber ever will. Whatever their business model is, does not beat Uber. Now, I'm looking at Lyft's earnings, and they were better than Wall Street expected. And I saw them go down today. We were talking about it today. They see 2019 revenue of $3.275 to $3.3 billion. They're losing money on that, obviously, right? So for the whole year of 2019, basically, let's give them the benefit of the doubt. Let's say they'll make $3.3 billion on the high end in which they expected. Okay. Uber is making, could project to make 3.5 to 4 times as much as that because they made 11.3 billion in revenue in 2018. So when it comes to expansionists, those who are on the road first and those who dominate the areas will do best. The fact that they have an average of a 5-minute wait time, that is to me solid service. I mean, imagine you're walking out of a bar as you're walking out. Remember what you used to do before you were, married? Nah, I go to bars probably like once a year for the T3 Christmas party. That's the last time I was in a bar. Funny, right? Um, so what I'm basically saying is Uber is going to be dominating the field, and Uber is going to be profitable way before Lyft ever will be. Ever will be. So you have to realize they're coming out in a field where Lyft failed. They're going to be able to learn from Lyft how to IPO correctly. Won't make same mistakes. Also known as will price Probably mid-end of range. I'm thinking they're going to price in the mid-end of the range because they always give an estimate of how much they want to open up at. Believe me, they would rather open up. I'm making the numbers up. Who knows, right? I'm saying a company would rather open up at 50 and get to 70 than open up at 100 and get to 80. I think the company who got from 50 to 70 is going to look a lot different than the company that went from $100 to 80. Because then all you do is start pissing off your investors. Well, the people who bought into your IPO are now all of a sudden not happy, obviously. I think these people are going to dump Lyft. If it wasn't clear enough for you today, and I know, granted, Lyft reported, I get it, but it's pretty much resting on descending support with elevated volume. And if you don't think those support levels are important, if anybody has ever told you, you know, the validity of the type of technical analysis we do, well, then just allow me to show you. So there was an email that we get, and the email basically says, Mark, I cannot believe your algo levels. Do you really have a time travel machine? And he starts, I kid you not, listing out questions. Where did it come from? Yeah, like that. Okay, just before I go into the gentleman's email, no, I don't have a time travel machine, but watch this. I want to show you something just really quickly. I'm not going to go into the details of all the trade. I'm not going to go into the fact that they're all posted on Twitter, all posted in the room. I'm not going to go into the fact that they're traders making money. And I'm seeing five-figure P&Ls flowing into my email box. I mean, I could if I showed you, it looks like they took the red out of Christmas when I look in my email box, other than the fact that the Gmail M is actually red in that case. But take a look at this. I want to just show you the Twitter feed. Take a look at this. Okay, I'm going to move my mug. So we give these levels. These levels are for today, but they were given yesterday in yesterday's show. So just real quick, IWM, we gave you 156.64 support. You see that? Watch this. Day low 156.65. We were 1 penny off. I kid you not. That's the IWM. That's the Russell 2000 Index ETF. People ever tell you, there's different forms of technical analysis, and I just want to show you what my technical analysis can do. That's all I want to do. I just want to show you what we can do when it comes to levels. Netflix, and these were given for you, and I will give you tomorrow's levels tonight. Netflix, we gave you the support level. Where'd that Twitter go? Right there. Right over here again. We gave you Netflix, $361.19. See that? On Netflix, $361.19. Blow up my screen here. Day low, $361.36. That's 17 cents off the day low of Netflix. We gave you Google yesterday. Again, like kind of nuts to believe, but right here we gave you Google $1,167.34 yesterday. Here's the day low of Google, $1,167.63. That's 29 cents off the dead low of Google. You think it just works for these FANG names? You don't think it works for like a metal? Okay, well, let me show you this. And I just want to show you, I'm showing you the power of this. I give this to you for free at night at the moment. Enjoy it. Take advantage of it like now. Like don't be silly. There's so many different ways people are making money in the room. Like people like I'm getting a plethora of you sharing P&Ls, and it's like I'm like these, and I answer you all the same way. I'm like, can I use this for testimonial? This is phenomenal. Here's GLD, right? It's gold. It's obviously an obnoxiously large instrument, right? Day low in GLD, 120.77. Yesterday's low that we gave you in GLD for support, 120.76. So I'm not going to go over the fact that they were all tweeted out in real time before they actually hit. You get an alert before they hit. Can you imagine that value? There are traders in the room, hundreds, who just use that part of the service to be traders. They have jobs, they have this, they have that. They just literally wait for the Newsbeat tweets to come out. Colton is on top of it like an animal. So we literally have like a team working to get these levels out to you. I mean, it's phenomenal. How about I give you tomorrow's levels? Just like all those levels I just showed you, that was given on last night's Newsbeat show. You want tomorrow's levels? Here. These are the levels for May 9th. Their support and resistance levels for all the names listed on the left. These levels do not always hit, but when they do, I personally tend to have an easy time making money when I buy it through support, and I tend to have an easy time making money when I short it through resistance. Algorithmic levels in robots are a very real thing. That's the only reason why this works. You have to find the methodology that can most commonly read a robot. We believe we discovered it, and we'll keep demonstrating that for you for as long as, you know, for as long as we can. Let's put it that way. Um, with that being said, I think Uber is something that I need to own personally. I currently wasn't allocated one share of Uber. I don't, my broker didn't come to me and say, Mark, do you want, 4 or 5 thousand shares of Uber at like some sweet price, at IPO price before it gets bumped up? And you know what I told him? Nothing, because he doesn't exist. I don't own a single share of Uber. But after Uber opens, we're going to obviously be looking at it. We're going to obviously be potentially trading it. And based on the technical setups and the things in the future, we're going to potentially be owning it. By we're, I just mean me personally. So it's definitely a stock that I'm looking to own after it actually publicly opens. I have to see where it opens first. I have to see all these things. But I am telling you right now, the same person who told you Lyft was going to zero when it IPO'd. Yes, I know it might never get to zero, but you see the point being made. Uber's going to do the exact opposite. And I will definitely tell you I will use potential pull-ins in Uber to go long. I would use that to go long. People talk, the stock I said that would go to zero before that, by the way, is Snapchat. We're talking big companies. I mean, anybody could take, a small biotech and say this one's going. If you take every single small biotech and say this one's going to zero, you'll be right the majority of the time, by the way. But the ones in which you're wrong, if you're short shares, are going to skyrocket to the moon. But real companies, I put a $0 target on Snapchat before they IPO'd. Before they IPO'd, a $0 target. I don't really have a dollar target yet on Uber because I have to see the whole listing and do the math, and then I'll put a target, the next day. But I will tell you I'm bullish on it. Like I do think Uber can double in value from wherever it opens. Well, I don't want to say wherever it opens. If this thing gets 5 times, 6 times the interest, which I doubt because Lyft really soured it for the industry. Lyft really soured people on that. So it's hilarious because now all the analysts who were bullish, bullish, bullish in Lyft are now bearish in Uber, which I find kind of intriguing and interesting why a company that makes 3.5 to 4 times more money is barely losing money versus their revenue, only 1.8 billion. You could correct that. Like I'll just give you an example of how to correct it. Like even from a mathematical perspective, you ready? They lost 1.8 billion in 2018. They had 1.5 billion trips. You know what? They could raise their bill by $1. I would still use their service. If they raised it by $1, they would have only lost 300 million in 2018. It sounds crazy, but do you understand? Like I was so stupid when I had to go on an airplane to leave the country. I used the local, car service company. They dropped me $120 to drive me to Newark Airport, like 120. I was like, wow, maybe I'm in the wrong profession. I called an Uber the next time I went to Newark Airport from the same location. How much do you think it was? Go ahead. We're guessing 30, 80, 60, 80, 39. $42. $42. AJC, Laxbro. Good guess. Good guess. Good guess, Maryam. Bit better than that, Diana. So imagine this. I paid a third as much to go to the same location using Uber. If Uber came out at me and like, we're charging you $2 more for they, you know what they could do? They could do every one of their longer rides and charge $10 more, and everybody would use it. Everybody would use it. Would you pay $50 or $60, Mark, instead of 120? Yes, I would. Yes, I would. And so would every other. They abuse their drivers. Yeah. Hard working conditions. You want to know another company who was accused of being very poor to their workers? Accused. Again, I've heard, I know people who work there. Some like it, some don't. How about this? You ever see this company before? They also supposedly mistreat their workers. I mean, look, I'm not saying I agree with these company practices where your workers are unhappy. In fact, I think that is the worst thing for any business ever. But then again, I am not running Amazon, nor am I running Uber. But I agree with you. You get bottled water and phone charging with Uber. That's true. I had a lot of bottled water. Had a bottled water in an Uber. Bottom line, I really think they could turn that 1.8 billion into a profit when you are making 11.3 billion in revenue. You have 3.9 million drivers with all the upset people. I guarantee you it's the easiest way. You know what you're underestimating about Uber? You know what you guys underestimate about these cab companies? How many people are down on their luck and download an app and get a job? How about the greatest job creator of the future will be an Uber? How about we just give the company credit? How about we call things about the company in which nobody is speaking to you about, like I am right now? Show me anywhere on the internet that refers to that statement. Uber is going to be the number one job hire on the planet. They're going to make Amazon look small. You don't believe me? They already did it, I bet. Let's see. Amazon work, and Amazon will be growing, I'm sure. All right, so let's look at Amazon here, and this is as of October 2018. 600,000 employees worldwide for the first time. They're wow, 600,000. Hmm. Oh my goodness. What is this? What is this? Drivers, aka workers, aka every single person who's driving that vehicle is making money for Uber with them doing nothing. 3.9 million. That is 5 times the workers as Amazon. 5 more, right? 3.9, I'm sorry. 6.5 to 7. We're not going to cut people in half. That would be cruel. 7. They have every 7 Uber employees, there's 1 Amazon employee. You're telling me I'm going crazy here? Show me another company that's hiring that. What other public company has that many workers? Tell me. I want to know. No, tell me. You want to know how Uber's going to diversify, Mark? They're going to buy Lyft. That's how you diversify. Oh, what are they going to diversify into? Food delivery services, trucking services, automation deals with Tesla or other electric car companies to hire their own drivers. They're going to hire their own drivers. They're going to be like, look, this robot's going to drive all day. And as soon as countries pass laws like Russia did, for example, to allow these, electric cars or whatever in the country, they're going to start teaming up and making their own electric cars, whether they buy out Tesla or partner with Tesla or buy a smaller electric vehicle company where they make just massively ugly fuel efficient electric vehicles that just are basically meant to do nothing but take contents from A or take person or contents from place A to B, yeah, you'll have robots delivering you food. I hate to sound so magical. You know, it's so funny. We land a rover on Mars and we're taking pictures and doing soil sample and saying there's water and moving here and sending it back and sending back live video feed. But a robot delivering food to my door? That's science fiction. I find people very funny when, they talk about a company, but fundamentally, Uber is going to be the biggest stock of the year. It will be the biggest stock of the year. You want to know the Lyft IPO price? Again, I'll prove to you I'll prove. We'll see, right? Time tells everything, right? You want to know why people are pissed in Lyft? Because they're in from $72. That was the IPO price on Lyft. They're down 20 points, approximately 20 points. You know what I would do if I was in Lyft? Bye bye. Let me put it in Uber instead. Let me put it in a company who knows what the heck they're doing. And you know what Lyft is going to be? Lyft is going to hopefully be an AMD, where they only show signs of life because they're bigger and much stronger competitors moving up. You remember AMD? You know? Here's a monthly of AMD. Oh, look, it's looking promising. No, they can't make it profitably. Oh, look, they're looking promising. No, they can't make it profitably. All right, let's do nothing for the next 8 years except edge lower. Oh, look, we're good again. Oh, what? No, what? Yeah, that's AMD. Look at NVIDIA. I'm looking good. I'm looking great. 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 Okay, bull flag digestive pattern. See the difference between NVIDIA and AMD? Here's Exhibit A. Here's Exhibit B. That's what Lyft is going to be. Lyft is going to be Exhibit A. Uber's going to be Exhibit B. I know everybody is down on the electric car vehicles. I know everybody heard me bash Lyft before they IPO'd and after they IPO'd, but I am not Captain Hindsight, and you're not going to hear me getting excited about Uber after it opens, after it moves, after this. I'll give updates, especially, to the Newsbeat Live members, and I'll always try to give you guys um, access to hear more. But look, it's kind of funny because for $49 right now, this magnificent voice you're hearing, you can have another, probably a good 30 minutes of it right now at night as I start breaking down every single stock that members are watching in the room, as well as questions from the room. You can have all of that for $49 a month. It is totally worth it. The value is totally there. Not only that, with that same $49, you would actually have access to get to go in the room and watch me trade Uber with the community. You can have that for $49. And it's opening up on Friday. And whether you are a first or second time user, it's definitely worth a shot. There's a link in the description. Like, honestly, don't be stupid. Don't be stupid with your money. Don't. Like, know a good deal when you see it and take advantage of it and give something a shot. Not only that, you'll get tweets with my algo levels. Could you imagine that, getting tweets with the algo levels happening in real time? You know the IWM bottom we showed you earlier, the Netflix bottom, the Google bottom, the GLD, the gold bottom. You like that? People tell you technical analysis is just about, confirmation. It breaks the top, it breaks the bottom of the candle. It goes up, it goes down, or it stays in between. Ah, look, I just shared with you 3 ways that the stock market moves. Nobody's using predictive analysis anymore when buying securities? What's wrong with them? What's wrong with them? By using predictive analysis and using my methodology, you could call the bottom of the Russell 2000, Netflix, Google, and gold today. And again, just here are tomorrow's levels. And the answer to the gentleman in the email is no, I do not have a time travel machine. I just, you know, I would say I participated in the algo trendline class, but I guess I've watched it. So I guess I have participated in it, technically speaking. So I have to get to my members. I hope you guys enjoyed the Uber presentation. Let me know how you feel. Let me know if you agree with me. Let me know if you disagree with me. Let me know what you think Uber is going to do. Leave a comment, share it. We always appreciate it. We hope you guys enjoyed the Newsbeat show. Happy trading, make money. And I will see you guys tomorrow, $49 a month, on the Newsbeat live trading broadcast. Have a wonderful evening.